Dave, you hated this movie.
Yes.
Okay, and no more follow-up. You can listen to Kyle and Dave every Friday. No. Welcome to Kyle and Dave vs. the Machine Video Edition. This coming Friday, we are going to be talking about the Disney film Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I was holding out hope, Dave. I was holding out so much hope that I would get to the end and be like, no, Dave, you're wrong. Like, this totally holds up. I think you're just being a curmudgeon once again.
Oh, my Lord.
I don't actually think that that's true. There's so much about this movie that does not work anymore. I still contend that the first, 40 minutes is actually pretty decent. I'm not going to say great.
Did you hear how halting Kyle was? It was a very halting statement.
Let me walk you through my mental process. I think the first 30 minutes, there's some good stuff in there, and then it just hits this brick wall of being and then it just becomes worse and worse and worse for the remaining hour and 15 minutes. The fact that this movie was supposed to be 2.5 hours long is I don't know how, because it drags for that last hour.
It is a grind, not a pleasant one.
Sometimes I like to grind with my friends off rails and stuff.
That's okay. But this is brutal. There's no charisma. It doesn't make sense. The kids are annoying. The animation's shit. The songs aren't that great, sorry Kyle. And there are Nazis in it. Why the fuck are there Nazis in this movie? It doesn't even make sense.
Well, especially because you would think that maybe it's does the source material have Nazis in it and they just felt compelled to keep up that storyline? Absolutely not. They do not show up at all in the source material, which makes it even weirder that they put Nazis at the end of this movie.
If this movie had been made, in 1946 through 1955, maybe, but 1971, there should not be a random, not army, what do you call it? A small assortment.
Whatever, a volunteer army, whatever they call it. Reserve army, maybe.
And with fully automatic machine guns floating off of a submarine of all things in some rural beach town in England that's protected by geriatrics.
The soldiers of the old home guard, that's so.
For what? What is going on with this movie? How did this get greenlit? Find out, because it shouldn't have been.
Yeah, shouldn't have been. But we'll find out. The early 70s was a very weird time for Disney. They were literally just throwing things at a wall and seeing if anything would work after, Walt Disney actually passed away. For a good period of time, really until the late 80s, before they were oh, okay, I guess this is what we do now.
I mean, you could argue. Well, no, late 80s is fine because, we get Aladdin and Lion King. I was going to say until Pixar comes into the picture, which is actually pretty around that time, too. What's Toy Story?
94 is Toy Story? No, 96. 96 is Toy Story.
They struggled. I mean, when your patriarch passes and is cryogenically frozen, what do you do? What do you do with your life at that point? Yeah. You make Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Fun fact, Walt Disney's head is actually on one of the pieces of armor. Not a lot of people know about that, but
I don't know. There's floating pieces of armor. Where did all the armor come from?
It was there's
3 suits.
Thing.
There were 3 suits on the wall.
There's only 3 suits, and then there's thousands of an army on the hillside.
Just as a twist, do you remember? Can you pull up? What did I rate this film? A 1?
I think it was a 1. I think you did a 1.
Yeah. What is my average rating in 1971? A 1?
A 1.8 or something.
This has not been a good year. Hopefully, we don't watch a movie that's worse than this.
How could we possibly do that, Dave? Foreshadowing. If you want to listen to
Disney.
Our entire conversation and hear about the backstory, me literally fawning over Angela Lansbury for a full 20-minute stretch.
She's not that good in that.
I love Murder, She Wrote too, so whatever. I love Angela Lansbury.
You do have the spirit of an old lady.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will take that as a huge compliment. Anywhere you get podcasts, this Friday, you can listen to the whole thing. Don't you dare miss it. It's going to be a ring-a-ding-dong-dandy to go back to Stampede Wrestling.
The threat is that Kyle will say nonsensical words and turn you sort of into a rabbit.
A bewitching fantasy.
Which lasts 30 seconds and is totally irrelevant in the process.
Totally makes sense.
I'll be the curmudgeonly male character who has no charisma, and yet everybody wants me to be their father.
It's not true. That's impossible.
It's very true to life, Dave.
Gross.
Soldiers of the old